So it's a difficult skill to teach. Being an enlightenment master involves a lot of contact with other people. And this is one of them. But like I said, even if you don't gain that here in this course, you can still give enlightenment intensives. But I'll show you how to drill yourself so that eventually, if you don't get it now, you will gain this capacity to tell. But you can still give intensives, though you can't tell. Because you don't have to know. Because you just don't have to comment about it. You can say, are you satisfied? Yeah, I said, yeah, I'm satisfied. He said, well, am I enlightened? He said, well, I don't know, are you? See, you can always get around it that way. I've tested it extensively to see if you could run an enlightenment intensive without ever committing one way or another about it. And you can. I ran 2 enlightenment intensives that way, just as an experiment. Now it slows things down a little bit, and they kind of wander around in the fog sometimes. I said, I wouldn't commit it any indication at all. Well, after I'd satisfied myself, then I just did whatever I wanted to at the moment. Well, what is enlightenment, huh? Well, I've said a few words about that. And you should know that there's not different kinds of enlightenment. There's not the enlightenment experience that you get off of enlightenment intensives, another one that you get in Zen, and another one that you get from yoga, and another one that Buddha had, another one that Jesus had. They're not different kinds of enlightenment. There's only one kind of enlightenment. There's different magnitudes. And there's different things you could be enlightened with regard to. But there's only one kind of enlightenment, and that is the direct experience of truth, and that's it. It's not possible that there are true truths. If you've had a direct experience, you've had a direct experience. That's all there is to it. Now, you can describe it with different words, and so they may sound a little different, and everybody has that tendency, since they're actually ultimately indescribable, although people can do a rather good job of communicating them. You can communicate the enlightenment experience, but you cannot describe it. We'll be getting into that later. But there's only one kind of enlightenment. There are degrees of enlightenment, but only one kind. So there's not Buddhist enlightenment on the other hand, Christian enlightenment on the other, yogic enlightenment on the other, and this humanistic enlightenment on the other. There's only one. And the enlightenment that you or people have on your enlightenment intensives is the same kind of enlightenment that Buddha had. There's no difference at all. Not one iota of difference in type of enlightenment. Perhaps he was more enlightened. But whatever you had, or your people will have, is a small piece of what Buddha had. Now, it may be a very small piece on occasion. Or it might be as much as he had. Right now I want to scotch a misunderstanding that has gotten around to a few people. And that is this. That the peak experiences that people have in enlightenment intensives may or may not be connected to enlightenment. Once you've had an enlightenment experience, you can never, ever, ever, ever lose it. You may not be able to apply it very well, but an enlightenment experience is never lost under any circumstances. Applicability, the ability to apply it in one's life, may get smashed up pretty bad in the succeeding days and weeks after an Enlightenment Intensive, because you're not around friendly and understanding people. But if they've had an experience, it's never lost, because enlightenment is eternal. It's independent of time. And if that's not the case, if they lose something that they got, it was an insight, a conclusion, a feeling, and was not an enlightenment experience. Enlightenment experiences are permanent and absolute. Once you're conscious of something, you can't not be conscious of it. Now you can think you were, and then find out later you weren't. That can happen. But once absolute consciousness is obtained, that is that. Enlightenment is permanent on and with regard to what actually was directly experienced. And you're going to be given a set of 10 questions on this talk I've just given you on what is enlightenment. When you've answered all 10 questions correctly, then you will have completed this particular talk. And so that's why you might want to take notes on things or tape record them and then listen to them again until you've gotten the material down. I know this is not entertainment, Bill, where you're just to be exposed to materials. Oh, that's nice. What did he say? You want to know what he said.